August Theodore, and he's 1 month old today. Yes, you are. You are 1 month, which is crazy. It does not feel like a month went by since I had him, but it has. And so we thought we'd sit down and share with you how the first month has been, both baby-wise and postpartum. So stay tuned if you'd like to see how it went. Today, August Theodore turned 1 month old, and so he has been with us for 1 month, and it has flown by. I always hear so many people say it, and it's so true, and I think especially the more kids I've had, the faster it seems to go. It does not feel like a whole month has gone by, but it has, and it's been a blessed month, and it's had its challenges, but we are very thankful that both me and little August are healthy and doing good. And so I thought I would sit down and share with you both his update and my own. So let's begin with the baby update. So August was born on August 29th, and so he is 1 month old exactly today as I am filming this. And he was born at 9 pounds 5 ounces, so my biggest baby, and he was about 22 inches long. And so he was long, he was chunky, and he was big. I weighed him just a little bit ago, like with myself, you know, weighing myself, holding him, and then weighing myself. And he is about 11 pounds 5 ounces, so he's gained about 2 pounds since he was born, which is crazy. I know when he was born, he was 9 pounds 5 ounces, and then like the next day he had lost several ounces. And then by the time he was a week old, he pretty much gained it back. And then at 2 weeks old, he had gained 1 pound. And so then now he has gained 2 pounds since he was born, which is crazy. He's a chunky little boy. He is growing longer. I think the crazy part is that like all my kids have been, like my son Oliver was a bit bigger. He was close to 9 pounds when he was born. But they all just seem smaller, but I just feel like he feels big and chunky. And that's how he felt when he was in me. I'm like, he feels heavy. And he's a cute little chubby little guy. Wears like, sometimes, well let's see, he doesn't wear newborn clothes at all. A lot of 0 to 3 months are not fitting him. He wears like 3 months pretty good. Like this shirt is 3 months and the pants are like 0 to 3. Actually wait. These are the 3 to 6 month pants. So it just depends on the brand and stuff. That's how it always is. It really depends on the brand and the size. That was an airplane. We live not too far from the airport. He definitely is bigger. I pretty much have to, he's in size 1 diapers and those fit him pretty good. But yeah, clothing wise, it's been a little bit different because I had a lot of the old clothes that my boys had because they were both born in October, and so weather wise it worked. But it was making me laugh because a lot of the newborn clothes, some of them he didn't even wear, and some of them he wore like once, which my kids stayed in them much longer. But he is just a chubby little guy, which we're very thankful for. Nursing wise, he has been doing really good nursing, which I'm so thankful for. With my first son, I had a lot of trouble nursing between tongue tie and latch issues and milk supply and all of that. It took a lot of work and a long time before he was really good at nursing, but I'm so thankful by God's grace that I was able to push through, and I nursed him till he was like 15.5 months, I think, and I loved nursing him, and each time it has gotten easier, which I'm very thankful for. He is definitely very efficient when he nurses, and he gets what he needs and he wants, and he's good, which is fine. It works great. He's a great little nurser. He usually goes every 2.5 to 3 hours during the day. Sometimes he'll go more closer to 2 to 2.5 hours. It just depends. I think when he's kind of going through a growth spurt or where he just wants more. It's not quite cluster feeding, but he'll just go closer together in his nursing. But yeah, he does that pretty much during the day, and then at nighttime, usually he'll nurse around like 8 or 8:30, I think, or somewhere around there, and then that's when he starts kind of falling asleep. And then usually he gets up one more time before like he's down for the night, and then he usually sleeps pretty good. Sometimes he'll go 5 hours, sometimes he'll go a little longer, sometimes he'll wake up and he'll nurse just on one side and conk back out. But definitely he's been sleeping very good, which I'm very thankful for. I didn't know, I'm like, is he gonna be a good sleeper or not? I got spoiled rotten with my daughter Tiffany, who when she was born, by the time she was like, she's a little over a month old, she started sleeping like solid through the night from like 8 o'clock at night to like 7 in the morning. I got spoiled rotten. Otherwise, with nursing, everything has been going really good, which I'm so thankful for. The only thing that has come up more recently is I'm pretty sure he has a dairy sensitivity, at least. My son Oliver, since he was like, that was a burp, since he was like 2 months old, he was like extremely colicky. He would arch his back, he would cry, he would spit up, he had lots of mucus in his stool, and we were trying to figure out what was wrong. And then eventually he had the blood in the stool, and he had like the classic like dairy intolerance symptoms. And sure enough, when I was nursing him, when I completely cut out dairy, he was perfectly fine, which we're so thankful for. But I was completely dairy free for the rest of the time that I nursed him, and he's still dairy free to this day. They said with him, we had allergy testing done, and he's not allergic, like reacting like anaphylactic way of reacting to dairy, but it's all intestinal. And so they said usually kids outgrow it when they're like 5 to 7 years old. And so he's much better than he used to be, but he still can't have dairy. And so I'm kind of used to the whole dairy free thing. And so with him, I feel like I was able to catch it a little bit sooner. And I don't know even for sure if it's as bad as like my son Oliver's was, but he started being really spit uppy, and he started getting really fussy and kind of having like really bad, poops and stuff, and arching his back a bit. And so I was like, I'm just gonna cut out dairy and see if that helps, because I know it helped my son Oliver immensely. And it did help a lot after several days, because it takes up to I think like 2 weeks for dairy to be like fully out of your system. But within several days, he already started to act a lot better. And when I've accidentally had tiny bits of dairy, definitely the next day he's extremely fussy and just crying a lot. But that has helped a ton, just cutting out dairy. And so that's one thing that has been different this past month, is that I'm dairy free now, and that he can't seem to have the dairy, so he's a lot like his brother Oliver. But otherwise, he's doing good. That hasn't stopped him from getting chubby and gaining weight. Mama just has to be careful with what I eat, which the first time I went dairy free, I feel like it was harder, because I was like, Reese's peanut butter cups, ice cream, milk. I love dairy. But that was one thing that God was really teaching me through that, is just being thankful that I had food I could eat, and that Oliver was doing good, and that it helped so much. And so this time around, I feel like it was a little bit easier to go dairy free, because I already knew what types of food I had to buy. We already eat all of our meals pretty much dairy free for our son Oliver. And so I already kind of knew what I needed to do. And so it didn't feel as hard as it was the first time, which I'm thankful for. But that is something new, is that this little guy cannot seem to have dairy. I sat August down because he wanted to nap in his little bassinet. But yes, that's pretty much the updates on him, that he has started cooing, and that he has started to smile, and he's just starting to show his personality more little by little each day. The lighting gets kind of funky. The sun is trying to set, because in Maine, when it goes towards fall and winter, it gets like dark at like 5 o'clock at night. Now moving on to the mommy postpartum update. I've been doing pretty good this past month. I've had some ups and downs, but otherwise in general I've been doing great, which I'm very thankful for. To begin, I'll start with my weight gain, weight loss. I gained about 42 pounds this pregnancy, and I have lost, let's see, I think I've lost like 22 pounds of it. So I still have like 18 or so to go. Actually, no, maybe I've lost 24 pounds. I don't know. All I know is I have lost a good chunk of it, but I still have a chunk to go. Usually when I nurse, I tend to lose most or not all of my postpartum weight, and so I'm hoping this time that will happen, but also trying to just eat better and trying to just make sure I get out and get some good exercise, which just helps you feel better in general. Some things that have been interesting this past month is, one of them is I'm now dairy free, which I mentioned with August update, and that he is dairy free now. And so I have been dairy free for I think a good week and a half, going on 2 weeks, and so far it's been good. Been having to kind of remember how to, what I can eat, what I can't eat. And I think the trickiest thing for me, which was, well, it's hard the first time I was dairy free when my son Oliver, when I nursed him, was like going out to eat. I think that's the hardest, because I always knew it wasn't that it affected me at all, but that I would watch the effects on my son Oliver, or now with August, I can tell when I eat something that has dairy in it, he starts getting really fussy, and you can tell it hurts his stomach. And so I think that's the hardest thing, is trying to be really careful when I go out to eat, but you can't always keep everything away from it. Like there'll be times where, oh, well, there was butter on the grill, and so they grilled it on that, and it's just tricky eating out. And so the easiest is to eat at home and to have things already ready. But there are times when we have to go out to eat, and so it's just, that's I think one of the hard parts about being dairy free. But otherwise it's been going good. I'm thinking of making some like what I eat in a day postpartum kind of dairy free videos. I don't know if you would enjoy those or not. Comment down below if that sounds like something you'd like to see, and what I do for being dairy free. But otherwise, that is one thing that has gone on this past month. Another thing that has gone on this past month is postpartum like bleeding and healing, which TMI, if you don't like hearing that kind of stuff, probably wouldn't watch the video. But basically, you have postpartum bleeding after you have a baby, and each of my postpartum times have been different. But this time, we're dealing a bit with what we're pretty sure is retained placenta is what it's called. We're not 100% sure yet exactly, but basically it's when your bleeding will start to stop, but then it comes right back again. And that's because when the placenta comes out, if it doesn't come out properly and any of it gets left behind, it's known as a retained placenta, and it causes you to just keep bleeding. And that's kind of what's been going on. And so I've had 2 ultrasounds now. The first ultrasound, they're pretty sure they saw something, and so I've taken some medicine and still not 100% sure if it has fully helped or not. Having a second ultrasound, just waiting to hear back from my midwives, which hopefully on Monday I'll hear if it's fully passed and if I have the okay. I'm hoping that everything will be good and it will pass naturally on its own, because otherwise it requires surgery to make sure all the placenta is gone, which I'd really like to not have. And so we're hoping and praying that it will pass on its own and everything will be good. But, hello. But otherwise, that has definitely been something this past month that has been different. I've never dealt with that with any of my other children. And so it's just been different. And lastly, an update for me is postpartum wise, is like emotions and stuff. I've mentioned before on my channel and my updates that I struggle very badly with postpartum depression with the third. And this time it was a little bit hard because I felt like during the pregnancy I felt pretty good. I would have my ups and downs, but your hormones are all over the place anyways when you're pregnant. And so I feel like I was just very much more aware of it. But pregnancy wise, everything went good. I think it was kind of hard because I feel like it's almost like waiting now. It's kind of like, okay, last time when it hit really bad, I was 6 weeks postpartum. And so it's hard to not be like, oh, I'm just waiting for 6 weeks. But I was actually watching a YouTube channel by, her name's Allison Bird, I think is their last name. And I love watching her stuff. And always an encouragement, but she was going through one of Charles Spurgeon's morning devotion books and just talking about not being anxious. And I was like, that is something that I think we all struggle with, but I know for me, just that's something that God has always been teaching me, especially through this postpartum depression, is not being anxious. It's like when you have all these emotions and every part of you wants to be anxious, but it's trusting in the Lord and knowing that God is sovereign and has a reason for what I'm going through, and to praise Him and to know He is my strength through it each and every day, and constantly having to just like stop myself and be like, slow down. And when I feel like my hormones are over the place, or I'll be really anxious, I'll just feel all over the place emotion wise, just praying and spending time in God's Word and knowing that He is good, and that if I struggle with it again this time, that God has a reason for it, and if I don't, being very thankful if I don't struggle with it. But so far, things have been pretty good postpartum. I've met with my midwives a little bit earlier, and I'll see them again at 6 weeks postpartum just to make sure emotion-wise everything's been good. And I also have the lady I meet with my medicine that I am on. And I've had some ups and downs, but so far everything has been pretty good, which I'm very thankful for. And just watching this little guy grow, he's right here on my lap if you're wondering why I keep looking down while I talk to you. But yes, sorry if this video is kind of all over the place and kind of rambling, but I wanted to sit down and do me in August's 1 month, which is crazy, postpartum and baby update. God has blessed us so much with our little guy. We love having him. Our kids adore him. My son Oliver like calls him his baby, and like they love him. They give him kisses. They take care of him, and it's so much fun to watch them baby him and like take care of him. It's so much fun. He's such a happy little calm, chunky baby, which is funny. I didn't expect to have this chubby of a baby, but it's so much fun just having a little chubby baby to squeeze and to cuddle. But yep, that is the update for me and for baby August. And so thank you again for stopping by my channel today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below if you'd like to see more mommy videos, baby update, mommy update, randomness videos that I just randomly come up with, cooking videos, who knows what it's gonna be. I feel like I've been trying to figure out now that he's here, because that's why I started my YouTube channel, was to document my pregnancy with him, because I've always wanted to with each of my kids. And finally, being, you know, my fourth baby, I was like, okay, I need to make these videos. I've been wanting to since my first. And so now I'm like, what should I do? I definitely want to do monthly updates with him and myself and do like cooking videos. Been trying to think up some like maybe DIY videos or just like in general mommy videos, things, I don't know, whatever I can come up with. Excited to be able to come up with some more videos and just bring you along on a journey now, as we are a family of 6 with this little chunky boy. And we thank you for stopping by our channel. He's like, Mommy, I don't want to be on camera. Oh, I'm a baby. Thanks for watching.